So it's part 2 and we're already in the winter. So let's talk what has changed since the last video, what was done to the car, what plans to be done to the car, and go into details. So I just got off the garage because I was doing the sound deadening on the rear door, and I was also replacing the butyl cord that usually is the cause of the leak. So if it rains and you open your rear door and there's water in the interior, that's because the seal is leaking. So if you have questions about that, let me know. It's a very common problem on F10s, especially rear doors for some reason. But anyway, what has been done since our last video about building an ultimate F10? First things first, there are a few things that are not very easy to show because I wasn't the one doing them. So for example, I did get the engine chain replaced. The car had 240,000 kilometers. There were no issues with it per se, but it was the time, I think, to replace it if I want to do anything with it. I plan to also replace rod bearings, but they were not in stock in Finland at that time, so I couldn't get them. So that's maybe in spring I'll do that. Now we did replace the valve cover, the plastic one. It didn't leak per se, but I saw that it's getting a little bit moist, and I was very lucky to get an OEM BMW valve cover from one guy here in Finland. He bought it for his car and he never used it, so I bought it for 150 euros. I think the new one is like 700, so it was a steal. So of course I decided that I need to change it, and it was changed all at the same time at one of the local workshops. We did change part of the suspension because some of the rubber bushings were already worn out, and I got crashed into, so I had to replace the front bumper. Actually, not replace, they managed to fix it and paint it at the dealership, and I had to paint it twice because it's Finland, and if you are from Finland, you know that there is only one BMW dealer, authorized BMW dealer in the country, and they don't always do the best job at painting. So when you see my car and you see that the doors don't really match the body panels, that's because they were painted at the local dealer. This might be my only experience, only my experience with them, but from what I read from the reviews, whenever it comes to painting, for some reason they don't do the best job. Anyway, I told you that I really wanted to find a mocha brown interior for this car, but in the past, 4 or 5 months, I've been browsing the web. I have not seen a single set of mocha brown comfort seats with ventilation and massage. And I need those because I have ventilation and massage. I'm not losing the options. In the end of the day, we're building the ultimate version of an F10. We're not sacrificing things. So I decided that the second best option would be Silverstone Gray. It's not as common either, but it's a little bit more available. And I am really looking into getting a set from M5 because those seats, in my opinion, are the best. This is just an assumption. I have never sat in F10 M5 seats that have massage and ventilation, only in the normal ones. It's just that the comfort seats that have massage and ventilation in these cars, they're not very comfortable. Because there's extra fans, there's not a lot of padding. So the basic comfort seats that just have heating option are much more comfortable than the comfort seats with ventilation and massage. Anyway, for some reason I got lucky and I found door panels that were taken out of I think 550i. These Silverstone Gray two-tone. I like the two-tone more than just the plain, like full leather Silverstone Gray ones you can get in M5. So in terms of door panels, I really like the two-tone. And it had the shades. So if you remember correctly, my car doesn't have shades from factory. And I already bought the rear shelf with the shades. I haven't installed it yet, but I installed the door panels. And the trickiest thing about installing door panels was actually moving my Bang & Olufsen grills from one set of panels to the other, because there are so many videos on how to replace speakers, how to retrofit the speakers, how to retrofit the door panels, but I haven't found anyone who actually took the grills from one car and put it into the other car. And showed the whole process, because these are made of plastic and they don't look like they are made to be moved. So I had to risk it on a $600-700 set of Bang & Olufsen grills, and I did it. So I decided to make a video about it. and this one will be part of it. So how to replace the grills between one car and the other, because it's been quite a challenge. Not in terms of challenge technically, it was more of a mental challenge because I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't sure if at any moment I'll just get myself in a situation where I need to buy a new set of Bang & Olufsen grills. I just got out of the garage, so now going home, and I can replace the final door, which is there. This is the only one left that is black. All else, as you can see, is already Silverstone gray, and we have the button now. So now we just need to install the shelf, and I will have all the buttons in the world. I'll collect them all, kind of like Pokemons, but better. So off we go then. So let's say you want to replace the speaker grills and move them from one door panel to the other, like I do. There is actually a manual for it. If anyone is interested, you can try to find it. But this is a door panel I just bought from scrap, so I can test it on this one before I go to my actual Bang & Olufsen panels. It says I have to drill out quite a few of these bits out, and it says to use an 8mm weld spot drill bit, but I feel that 8mm might be too much because these are tiny. This is like 6mm, I think, and this will drill it right through. So now we need to try to put it back in. As you can see here, all of these are broken when you drill them out, so you have to find the right size screw. I bought a few, but these ones I think they will fit. These are 3x20. I think ideally it would be 3x15, but I didn't get those. I just need to check if it will actually hold. Let's see how this holds. Yeah, this one seems to be perfect. If you want to be on the safe side, you can put a washer between these two. Yeah, this is not going anywhere. Yep, so now it's time to try it on the real door. So these are the doors we are working on. I'm still gonna have to replace this panel, the one I have on my car, because this one doesn't have massage. And I'm actually trying to buy the one that has the gentleman pack option that allows you to control the passenger seat, but let's see if I will be able to do that before the install. Most likely not. And these are the washers we need to drill out. So same way I did on the desk door. There are a few clips. There's one hidden there. I almost missed it previously. So it's super easy to drill them out. They break it almost instantly. You don't need any torque. You don't need practically anything. So if I put it here so you can see it, light pressure, and it just comes off. See, this one just broke. So I took a smaller drill bit, so let's see if this one will work. Or am I a hero failure now? Or maybe not. Yes! Very nice. So now this is ready for Bang & Olufsen install. These ones, they have clips as far as I remember, so it clicks in here. But I'm not 100% sure what's the correct way of removing those. Because as you can see, there are a few pins here. One here, one here, and one is right there. And I need to figure out how to press them without breaking. So I think I figured it out. So I took this thinnest bit ahead, it's already warped, and I pushed on this pin down and out. This one was relatively easy, but let's see if I can do the same here, because it's almost impossible to see, but it's right here. So on the camera I don't think you will see it, but trust me, I'm an engineer. Yes. And the last one is here under this bolt. So same thing. Yes. So now we're removing this one. And this goes up. We got it. And we didn't even break anything. So these are the clips. So there's one here, and one here. And these three, they go in. So you see they're like hooks. So maybe we will be successful. And here we are in the car. So few things you need. I mean, there is a gazillion videos about how to remove these door panels, and I know a lot of people are still afraid to do so because they're afraid they will break something. And you can break something, but to be honest, most of the things you'll break are plastic clips, and I would suggest you change those anyway. I mean, they cost peanuts. You can go to any BMW dealership and buy, I don't know, 50 of them for $10 or something like this. And it always makes sense to replace them because the plastic gets weak over time, especially if you have winters and summers. So the temperature differences are quite drastic. But few things that I would highly recommend to anyone removing these things is, of course, like a very basic set of tools like these ones. I got these from, I think, Amazon for, I don't know, $15. I don't really see a difference in these compared to like the more expensive ones. Yes, these break. I broke a couple of them, but again, I mean, they don't cost that much. You don't need all of them. I'll show you the ones that I'm using, but again, tons of videos of how to remove these. But one thing that nobody is telling you about are these. These are these picks, because if no one has removed this door before, and it's been years, there is a chance that connectors are very, very tight. And it's actually unplugging the connectors for the speakers, the door handle, the controls. That thing takes a toll on your fingers. I mean, in my experience, doing all 4 doors, even with the gloves on, especially the speaker wires, because they're tiny and you cannot use any metal pliers because you'll just break those plastic connectors. I'll show them in a minute. But those things that they take a real toll on your fingers if you don't have any of these picks that you can just use them to help you pull the connectors out. I mean, my fingers would hurt for like a couple of days after removing these. So just be prepared, and yeah, let's go for the removal. Again, many ways of doing it. I'll show you how I do it. One key difference that I noticed in the way I remove the door panel is to remove this bit, because this is the tricky one. It's harder to align it afterwards, and it's not as easy to take it off in the beginning, especially if you have B&O, because this one isn't as flexible as, let's say, Hi-Fi, because this can just pop out if you bend it too much, so rather not. And it has lights and everything, so I don't want to break it. So I prefer to roll the window down and have access to it from the side. But again, I'll show you in a second how I do it, and then you can do it any way you want. So first things first, this bit. I mean, you can clearly see here, there are some signs of someone, aka the dealer who was painting this door, using some, I don't know, screwdrivers or something, and basically denting this plastic a little bit. But there is an easy way of pulling this out. But before we go here, let's remove this panel because we need access to the screws that are located. I think it's here, here, and one is here. Or it's just one and one. Let's check it out. So I usually use just these 3. So this is a flat, but it's quite thick. This one is thinner, yet still quite wide. And this is a thin one I use for this bit. But let's start from here. So again, personal preference. I removed these door panels, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. Had different experience with all of them, but I find it easiest to start from this bit. Just poke it in, and that's it. Like, that's where you start it. And then just keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and it all clips out. When you're almost done and you feel like you want to rip it off, don't, because there is a hook, so you need to pull it here. So let me try to show it to you. So this bit is here typically, so you want to pull it forward and then out. And this bit, the one that is stuck in the door panel, is usually attached to this piece of trim, and this one is the one holding everything in place. So you would usually need it would go out like this. Now this is actually quite handy. You can see how it works from inside. So you see it's also like a hook. So when you're pulling this whole trim out, you want to use something like this to put it under here and just push it up. And when you push it up, you can actually pull it out quite easily. Not in this case because it's not quite easy to do it with one hand, but yeah, now you got it. So this is how it looks like. And usually it's attached to the trim, and usually it's the thing that basically holds the trim in place. This is the nasty bit. Now we just have to undo the screw here and undo the screw that's underneath here. This one is tricky because there is the light, this strip, and you may break it quite easily if you push in the wrong place. Yes, there we go. So it's approximately here, I don't know, 2 centimeters, 1 inch away. And this bit is usually much easier, but not today. Might have something to do with the fact that it's -2 outside. Plastic is a little bit more brittle than usual. So yeah, see there's this strip. So if you push too hard, you'll just break it. So your idea is that you go somewhere around here and push it down. Clips out relatively easily as soon as you got this going. Then there is a screw here. I think it's T25. Yes. No, actually I think it's a T30. Yes, T30. And don't worry, the door panel will not drop out at any of these stages until we make it. Okie dokie. So now this is ready to be moved out. Let's get all this shit up here. So what do we do now? Now we need to remove this bit. The easiest way to do it is by pushing from here. Just push it in. And hope for it to come out. Yes. Okay. Now when this one is out, we carefully twist it because it's clicked on the other side into its spot. And we need to carefully, without breaking it, pull it out. Just grab it from behind, if you know what I mean. Now to the fun part, removing the door panel. So, many ways of doing it. You will have to find the way that works for you. I prefer not to start here. I prefer to start in one of the bottom corners. In my experience, that corner here has been the easiest on many of the cars. On this one, I will be honest, I don't remember. But let's see. Just be careful and don't rush it. You need to find a way to stick at least one of these bits inside, so you have some leeway. So start with something thin as possible. Don't use metal here because you will most likely damage the paint and or the leather. And you will see the clips. Yeah, that click was the clip coming out. But don't pull from here because it will break it. This is basically almost like carton. As soon as you hurt a few of these, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you really have to put this one in, then next to it, the next one in, the next to it, the next one in, and then you just need 2 of them to pop out. And then when you did, put your fingers underneath, and that's basically it. They come out quite easily. Again, if no one has removed the door panel, it will not be as easy, I promise you. But you can make it. Don't be afraid of ripping it, just do it fast, don't pull it. Just like short, fast movements, and the door won't fall off, as you can see, because it's basically there is like a hook that goes here because the door is installed by hanging it first and then pulling it all back. We need to pull the door up. Up and up and up. And off we go. Yes. Now we need to remove all of the connectors. So we start from door lock, I would assume. And this is where you need those picks, because otherwise, say speaker cables in this one, because I already removed them once, it's a bit easier. But because I was doing sound deadening to the door itself, if you are interested in that kind of stuff, I have a video about replacing base audio system with the custom one, and on that video I showed what I did with the door panel. It was a different car, but it's the same thing. Here, just remember where things were. Take a picture if you need to. I don't need to take a picture because I have it from the previous attempt of doing these things. But yeah, these connectors they're a pain in the ass. So use a pick. Without these ones, I mean, it would take me so much more time. These are invaluable. There are a few connectors here, and some of them are easier to work with, the others are harder to work with, but just be patient. Don't try to break things. Nothing here comes out by force. It all comes because it's not coming out, it's because you didn't figure out where it's connected or locked in. So please don't break your car. I do encourage you to do these things at home, but you're responsible for it. I'm not taking any responsibility for your errors, because I think everyone should be able to do these things to their own cars. I mean, I'm not a mechanic by trade, profession, education, or anything. I just love taking things apart and putting it back together, and I feel like the car is not much different from anything else in this regard. Yay. It's all of your wiring. Yeah. So I think out of all these wires, there is only one that is a little bit tricky. I'll show it to you in a second. And now let's go to the nasty part. So the only wire that you have to be careful with was this one, because it's locked in place with this clip, this plastic, and it's like this when it's locked. So first you need to push this thing down, and then it's almost impossible to do one-handed. Let me see if I can put the phone between my legs. Yes, so push this down, and then this goes over it, and then it just pops out. That's it. That's the only sort of nasty one. Everything else is super easy. And now we just have to... Actually, we don't even have to remove this one for this job, so this can just stay in place. Now let's go home and replace the speakers. So to remove the speaker, you need either 8mm or I think this is 5/16. And hopefully I will not destroy Bang & Olufsen grills. So another piece of useful advice. So I was just removing this bit, which is usually held here. It's inserted from underneath, like this. And there are a few interesting quirks. So first of all, this end, it latches a little bit here. So you have to kind of, it goes down like this, and then you pull it out. But second thing is, I was pushing these two things down to try to remove it from place, but I was supposed to push this thing down. So when you're removing it, you will be holding here, just push this black bit, and then these two, and push this angle first, so this side goes in, and then that one you just sort of pull in and out. So that's another thing for you to know. Moment of truth. Shall we or shall we not destroy Bang & Olufsen OEM grills? 1, 2, shit, 3, almost shit, but not. Hallelujah. this is what Bang & Olufsen OEM speaker grill looks like. So now when this one is out of that door, we need to install the new panel. And I'm proud to say that this is the first M5 part in my car. I got a new handle for that, so... Okay, that literally took me like 1 second, because I tried this on a different handle before, and I spent like 5 minutes trying to put it in correctly, and this one was like click, and that's it. So yeah, this was way easier than the previous one, so I'll install this one now. So now the new handle is in place. It's held by 2 screws here. We have it all there. And now we will use these two to put the speaker grill on the new door. So as I said in a trial video, I got a shorter screw. So this is 16 millimeters. And these are the washers because I couldn't find like sheet metal screws that have like big head. So I would rather use a washer so it doesn't go through. And we just need 8 of them if I remember correctly. So let's get to it. Okay, now we have everything in place. All the screws are in. This bit is in. The handle is in. Let's see how it looks like. Nice. Silverstone gray door. I mean, it looks white on camera, but it's gray. We're getting closer. So, now to the fun part. Connecting it all back together. The good thing is, these wires, they kind of hold shape. So if you have even an approximate idea of where things should be, then that's where they should be. So this one is in. Blue is the speaker. That's on here. Into our new control module. This one I think is here. This is for the door lights. So check that you don't have anything hanging loose. Okay, now let's see if it works. So let's see if we can play something that will not get me banned from YouTube. Yeah, we're on. Does the massage work? Does it work? Yeah, it works. The memory works. Nice. So everything else works. Perfect. Let's turn it off. The windows down. And now we just basically have to put everything back in place. AKA do a little bit of pushing, but just beware that these plastic clips, they are very fragile, so you want to make sure everything is aligned before you really start pushing this thing in. So don't just go on and start hitting. Yeah, now we're done. And I'll show you this bit, because this one is tricky. So this one is a little bit trickier, because you have to align it in 2 spots. First of all, I have to align it here. So this is where the hooks are that go in. But the trickier thing is aligning it here. Is there is this tiny hook that is already broken. Ah, shit. Well, it's important to get it in here, nice and tight, underneath this velvet looking like thing before you clip it from the other side, because this one you will see always. This one you can always work with. So I'll do it now because I can do it one-handed and show you the result. And because I'm almost mastering this, only took me a minute. But yeah, like this is where everyone fucks it up. They get this stuck in, or it's misaligned, or it's not aligned here. So this is the tricky bit. The other one is easy. And now we have the door in place. So let's finish up with the trim and off we go. So we do everything in the reverse order. And we start with this hook here, put it in, and just start clipping it. There's nothing really you can break here. Well, I won't make videos about every other door, because this door was the hardest one to make, because I have controls that I had to replace, I had this one that I had to replace. None of the other doors have it. So, and there are tons of videos of how to remove the other doors, exactly the same process. So since this door was the hardest one to execute, and I think we got it right, now it's all about doing it for all the rest. And we have the rear shades, at least on the doors, not on the shelf yet. So, see you in the next one. Houston, we got ourselves a problemo. This is supposed to be on the passenger side door, and this is where the hole is supposed to be. So now I'm gonna have to cut out the hole here, same as on the original door, which is not there. This is actually the driver's door, but it's the same. And yeah, let's see. Oh, maybe this is actually the same door. Yeah. So we have to cut the same hole here. Let's see how it works. So 30 minutes later, this bit is cut. As you can see, I missed it in a few spots. Made myself a thing like this. But I'd say it looks perfect. From now on, call me BMW door supplier.